Jason was a special makeup effects student, and then he also did the film program.
I started the film while I was a student at the Romero filmmaking program. I came and worked for Tom on the 4th semester final, The Wrong House.
I'm not aware of any distance. It almost looks like it's flat against it.
And just seeing how wonderful he was with the crew and people in general, his family, seeing how well he treated his daughter and his grandson.
He was impressed by the way I was interacting with the crew. It's a collaboration. And he decided to somehow show that in a documentary.
My pitch was to him was that I didn't so much want to tell the story about a guy who went and threw a bunch of fake blood all over the Monroeville Mall. I wanted to tell the story about the guy who went and threw a bunch of fake blood all over the Monroeville Mall and then made sure that he was home in time to get his daughter off to school.
Which is what Smoke and Mirror does. You've seen it, there's a lot of heart in there.
It absolutely was motivation for me to start this film while I was in school because I had everything at my disposal, you know, included in my tuition.
It's difficult to understand before you've come to school just how fantastic it is to have, you know, a soundstage with a giant green screen and to have mixing sound facilities and editing facilities and camera gear and grip electrical equipment and camera movement equipment, all of this stuff that you need to make films.
This is a film studio. This is like the old days of MGM or Paramount. Here is a film program, and there's an assembly line of makeup artists in the makeup effects program. The collaboration is what movie making is all about.
Just everything that you need to make a movie is here, so I just figured why not take advantage of that.
I'm sure Bob Tinnell ingrained in him the sort of perfectionist that Bob is, along with, you know, every other thing that, you know, Bob instills in his students.
A good work ethic, personal responsibility, leadership, creative problem solving. These are the skills that we really look to cultivate here, because those, in our experience, are the types of people that not just the film industry are looking for, but most industries are looking for.
You know, the head instructor, Bob Tinnell, is listed as a producer on the film. For years after we graduated, Bob was still involved with the project. Everything from helping us find people to interview to just being a general liaison on industry questions. Once you walk out these doors, that doesn't mean that your connection with the faculty stops. You know, they kind of become mentors to you for life.
We started 8 years ago to make Smoke and Mirrors, you know. So there's 8 years of work in there.
Working around very famous people's schedules, it was very difficult. You know, they'd be willing to donate their time, but they wouldn't be available for 6 weeks, 2 months, 6 months. Sometimes we would get lucky and, you know, something like the, you know, South by Southwest happened where, you know, we were able to go and get several interviews in like a 2-day span, and then we wouldn't be able to get another interview for 6 months. And while we were waiting for interviews, we'd be doing other stuff. We'd be going through B-roll.
We went to every source that we have. I mean, we went through my clipping books. He shot every article in there. I've got, I don't know, 30 tapes behind the scenes of every movie I've ever worked on.
You know, if we weren't working on one part of the film, we were working on the other.
I would say it was a learning experience for both of us.
We had the basic outline once we really started. Every interview session we did with Tom was almost like a therapy session. Kind of focused each interview to sort of specifically to those different categories of his life. So we kind of started with like the puff piece questions and stuff, and then Tom opened up more, trusted us a little bit more about some, you know, really serious things that have gone on in his life.
Because, you know, to me it's my life, it's something I'm familiar with, but if you're watching it as a stranger, there's interesting bits.
I'd say the biggest thing that I learned from this film is that perseverance does pay off. Nothing in this industry is given to you. Everything is worked for. If you're willing to work the extra hours, you're gonna get extra stuff. If you're just gonna do the bare minimum, you're gonna sit at home and wonder why you're unemployed. We got to do some pretty amazing stuff. You know, I got to recreate the intro to Frankenstein with Doug Bradley.
Doug Bradley's Frankenstein intro, which was Jason's idea, and I hated the idea until I saw it. Wow, that's cool. Oh, that's gonna work really good. That was a learning experience for me. So it was a back and forth thing, you know.
I got to, you know, interview Robert Rodriguez and Danny McBride. Got to travel all over the country with it. You know, I got to meet people like George Romero and do a bunch of stuff. And, you know, I also got to learn what it's like to make a movie and how tedious it is to make a movie.